James awoke with a start, blinking against the harsh morning light filtering through the autumn leaves. He squinted, feeling the roughness of the wooden park bench beneath him and the crisp chill of the London air. As he sat up and rubbed his eyes, a sense of unease settled over him. The usual hum of the city was absent. No chatter of morning commuters, no distant rumble of traffic, no footsteps on the pavement. He stood up slowly, scanning his surroundings. Hyde Park lay silent and empty, its paths devoid of joggers, dog walkers and picnickers. James frowned, his heart beginning to race. He walked briskly to the park's edge, where the bustling streets of London should have been. Instead he found abandoned cars and deserted sidewalks. The city, usually so alive with energy, was eerily still. "Hello?" he called out, his voice echoing in the emptiness. "Is anyone there?" Silence answered him. Panic bubbled up inside him, but he forced it down, trying to think logically. He decided to head towards the city centre, hoping to find someone, anyone. As he walked, the desolation became more pronounced. Shop windows stared blankly at him, their displays untouched. Traffic lights blinked pointlessly, governing non-existent traffic. James's footsteps were the only sound, a lonely rhythm in the empty streets. He reached Trafalgar Square, its usual throng of tourists and locals conspicuously absent. The fountains gushed water into the basins below, oblivious to the void. James climbed the steps of the National Gallery, his breath coming in shallow gasps. He was truly alone. "What is happening?" he whispered to himself, sitting down heavily on the gallery steps. His mind raced with possibilities. Was this some kind of elaborate prank? A dream he couldn't wake up from, or something far more sinister? Days passed, and James roamed the city in a daze, surviving on food scavenged from supermarkets and cafes. He kept hoping he'd find someone, but the streets remained empty. He spent his nights in luxurious hotel rooms, but the silence was oppressive. He longed for human contact, for any sign that he wasn't the last person left in the world. One evening, as he wandered along the Thames, he noticed a strange glimmer in the sky above the Shard. A shimmering, translucent dome seemed to encompass the city, its surface rippling like water. Intrigued and desperate for answers, James made his way to the skyscraper. Inside the Shard, the silence was even more profound. He took the elevator to the top floor, where the dome's edge seemed closest. As he stepped out onto the observation deck, he felt a tingling sensation, and the world around him shimmered and distorted. Suddenly the dome vanished, and James found himself in a sterile white room. A man in a lab coat stood before him, clipboard in hand. "Welcome back, James," the man said calmly. "What is this?" James demanded, his voice hoarse. "Where am I?" The man sighed. "You've been part of an experiment. A simulation, to be precise. We needed to observe human behavior in extreme isolation. You volunteered for this, though you won't remember that now." James stared at him, shock rendering him speechless. The man continued, "The experiment is over. You can return to your normal life. Your memories of the last few weeks will be erased to avoid any lasting trauma." Before James could protest, he felt a sharp prick in his arm. Darkness crept in at the edges of his vision, and he collapsed to the floor. He awoke in his own bed, sunlight streaming through the window. The sounds of London filled the air, car horns, distant conversations, the bustle of life. For a moment he lay there, trying to grasp at the fragments of a strange dream that was already slipping away. He shook his head, dismissing it as a vivid nightmare. As he got up to start his day, he couldn't shake a lingering feeling of unease. Little did he know, the city he had wandered through in solitude was just one of many simulations, and his ordinary life was now a carefully crafted illusion within another layer of reality.